one of the criteria in nominating and appointing a Chief Justice?
I understand moral fitness to mean not simply obeying the law.
Yes.
Because you should transcend that. You must see to it that your actions are in accordance with proper, decent, and that you do not go beyond the bounds of ethics. So it's not enough to say that I'm obeying the law, I'm following the law. But we should be very careful in seeing to it that we observe decency, propriety, and ethics in all our actions. And not only in our official actions, but also in our private life. We should be models in our community. Models of moral fitness.
Okay. You have stated that you are the Vice Chair of the Ethics and Ethical Standards Committee in the Court, so I'll ask you this question. It is of common knowledge that the judiciary now is burdened by an image of corruption allegedly committed by most of its members. Now, former Chief Justices have tried to address this problem, but apparently they failed because this problem still persists up to today. If you will be appointed as the next Chief Justice, how are you going to root out the corrupt in the judiciary?
I think it is important for us to have a feedback mechanism.
How are you going to do that?
Yes. We should enlist the support of the integrated bar and the community in this feedback mechanism. I don't have yet the form of this feedback mechanism, but I think it's a way of putting members of the judiciary on their toes, knowing that
they are being watched.
They are being watched, and that we should have a standard criteria to evaluate judicial performance.
So, can you explain further what you mean by standard criteria? What is the standard criteria that you wish to implement?
Right now, the court is working on this. And it's really a difficult undertaking because, sometimes there are judges who write very well, so it takes them more time to write their decisions, and these decisions are are usually affirmed by the higher court. There are those who produce a lot of decisions, but they are all reversed. So there are many factors to take in consideration, and we have a problem about finding who should evaluate them. They do not want to be evaluated by the executive judge because they feel they are just peers, and their work is not reviewed by the executive judge. So we should really look into this, have a scholarly and well-studied measure to evaluate the performance of our judges.
Are you telling us that your basis for evaluating the performance of the judges will be their decision, the percentage of affirmance or reversal of their decisions?
No, not only that. That's why I said we should study the criteria that we should use in evaluating judicial performance, and it cannot be as simple as that. There are many things that we should consider.
Okay. Now, Justice De Castro, what to you is accountability? And how are you going to promote accountability in the judiciary?
accountability is accountability means being responsible
Yes.
for your action. It is not enough that you are not found out, because you all somehow, some way, you're going to pay for whatever wrong you have done. There's a higher being there watching over us, and so for me, accountability is not only something legal, but it is spiritual. It transcends what the law demands of us. And I think we should instill this sense of accountability through our Philippine Judicial Academy, the institution in the Supreme Court, which is taking charge of educating and developing the skills and the orientation of judges. And I think we should see to it also that legal education is reformed. I think we have paid very little attention to ethics. It's just a 1-unit course in college. So I think we should that should be allotted more units and given greater weight in the bar examinations.
Okay. Now, considering that the Legal Education Board is under the supervision of the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice in particular, how are you going to regulate the law schools in that regard through the Legal Education Board?
The Legal Education Board can decide on the curricula of the colleges of law, and I think this is a very potent way of looking at the administration of our law schools. I think the Legal Education Board has enough authority under the law to be able to reform our educational system, especially the law schools. And I think the Supreme Court should be more active. This Legal Education Board has only been recently organized.
Yes.
So
and it has not taken off.
I think the court should have a better or closer coordination with the Legal Education Board. Anyway, it is within its supervision, and not just let it do its work without any supervision from the court. So I think that's one area which the court should also pay attention.
Okay, Justice De Castro, I have here some questions. In fact, there are many questions from our Twitter, which are all directed to you. And I want to ask you these questions. Okay, Justice De Castro, this is from a certain FCA. Justice De Castro, what can you say about the masses, rallies, banners, no work day in the Supreme Court during the impeachment to show support to a justice facing charges?
I didn't have a hand in the planning of these activities. What I just want to say is that anyone who tells me that there is a mass going on in the Supreme Court, I usually attend, whether it is for one purpose or for another. Whether it's for First Friday or for any occasion, I would go to Mass and attend the Mass. Now, aside from that, during the Mass, we pray for everyone.
Okay.
We pray for
a
the
particular person.
Not for a particular person,
okay.
but we pray for everyone. And I think prayer is very, very good.
Yes.
In fact, I ask so many people to pray for me now.
Okay. Okay,
So,
that's very good.
So,
The power of prayers.
yes.
Now, another question from a certain Felipe Natanyo. How should the Supreme Court balance its response to people's demand for openness and transparency while guarding against tendency to become populist? How should the Supreme Court balance its response to people's demand for openness and transparency while guarding against tendency to become populist? From a certain Felipe Natanyo.
Is there? I do not perceive anything wrong with being populist, if it means that we need to be sensitive to the sentiments of the greater number of our population. I don't see any conflict between these two ideas. I'm both for transparency and also for seeing to it that we feel the pulse of the people without, of course, going beyond the bounds of the law.
Okay. Now, one last question, Justice De Castro. Just from Renza Riola. Justice De Castro, has there been a time when you totally opposed a certain decision of the Supreme Court?
Is it about writing a dissent or?
Yes. Where you have
Yes,
completely dissented.
Yes, I can. I do that if I really believe that I have taken the right position.
So in relation to that, another question is this. Has there been a time when you regretted the action which you have taken in a case which you have decided?
Fortunately,